I'll start by reading the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 3. For here is what Adonai says, the people of Yehuda, the Yerushalayim, break up your ground that hasn't been plowed, and do not sow among thorns. I'll start from that book. The book, or rather, the reading that in that verse says, and tells the people of Yerushalayim, the people of Yehuda, that first they should make sure that they do not plant or sow their seeds on a ground where it is not plowed, where it has not been plowed or hoed or worked on to make sure that the ground is ready for planting. And also they should make sure that before they plant their seeds, they should make sure that there are no thorns. It is not amongst thorns. We know how we first prepare our fields, our gardens, our farms before we plant our seeds. Something should be done on the ground. We should first make sure that the ground is ready. It has been plowed. All thorns and everything that may grow there, they may grow back. It has been gathered together and burnt to make sure that the ground is ready for planting. I'm saying this because I know that every one of us knows that the ground before it is planted must be prepared. We will read a different verse on the same subject on the book of Isaiah. That is Isaiah 5. Isaiah verse 5. And this is a song. It is a song. But we will not sing it. We will just have to listen to it. It goes this way. I want to sing a song for someone I love. It's a song. I want to sing to someone. It's a song for someone whom I love. A song about my loved one and his vineyard. My loved one had a vineyard and a very fertile hill. On a very fertile hill, he dug up its stones and cleared them away, planted it with the choicest vines, built a watchtower in the middle of it, and carved out in its rock a winepress. He expected it to produce good grapes, but it produced only sour, wild grapes. I say this is a song. It's a song. But although it's a song, it is what goes on when somebody is farming. It is the work of a farmer. A good farmer makes sure that the ground he wants to prepare for farming, rather for planting his seeds, the ground must be fertile. That is one thing. The second thing, if the ground is not fertile, he must add manure. He must add manure to the ground by digging small holes separated so that in a process whereby he plants his seeds, they will grow well. They will not grow into a bush, but they will grow well. And also, that person makes sure if the ground is not, he does not have manure, he will buy and add fertilizers to make sure the ground is fertile. He adds manure. Also, he makes sure that the ground, or rather that farm, is well fenced. It's not open. It cannot be accessed by animals or wild animals or domestic animals, so that they may not be able to destroy his or her plants. That is the same thing that was done in this book of Isaiah 5 that we are reading right now. The owner of that hill made sure that the ground is prepared. The ground, the hill, erected on the hill a watchtower for somebody, so that somebody will be looking or watching his vineyard, so that his enemies, animals, and anything else that may destroy the farm may not get a chance of getting in. He had a fence, he erected a fence, he employed somebody, security, to be on the watchtower so that he will be able to watch his farm. Also, if we read further down, we'll also have another observation that he dug canals. He dug canals so that he can be able to water his plants. That is what goes on when somebody wants to have a good produce from his farm. Some people use pumps. They use pumps to pump water from maybe from the rivers, from lakes, or even dams, so that they can be able to water the plants. Others do the other way around. They dig canals from lakes, from rivers, from dams, from ponds, from any source of water, or maybe they save water intact from the rain, or even from any other method that they come about. That is how a good farm is prepared. But this time, this person, when he did all these kind of work, all these to his farm, to his orchard, to his vineyard, the seed that he had planted brought out sour grapes, wild sour grapes, which we are calling wild grapes. We should note this, that this farm we are talking about, or this vineyard we are talking about, we are the active vineyard. From the words we read from the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3:9, we read these words. So that we can be able to confirm that we are this farm that this person is singing about to his loved friend. We are that farm. Let's read from the book of Corinthians. The book of Corinthians, that is chapter 3, verse 9. And I read from verse 3. From verse 5, sorry. After all, what is Apollos? What is Shaul? Only servants, through whom you came to trust. Indeed, it is the Lord who brought you to trust through one of us or through another. I planted the seed, and Apollos watered it, but it was God who made it grow. So neither the planter nor the water is anything. Only God who makes this grow. Planter and waterer are the same. However, each will be rewarded according to his work. For we are God's co-workers. We are God's field, God's building. We are God's field. Even if what we are doing, what we are, the waterer and the planter are the same. But the person who grows us, who makes us grow, is God. We are the farm, as we saw, as we have read. We are the farm. The planter and the person who is watering, there is nothing. That work without the Lord himself, who grows us in his farm. We are just working. We are just workers. We are co-workers with God. We are the farm of the Lord. So, when we are working in God's farm, we should know this. When we are working and when we are doing work in the Lord, in God's farm, we should note this. We should make sure that we are planting the light seeds. The light seeds. Because if we don't make sure that what we are planting are the best seeds, our farm, rather, God's farm will add bearing or rather wild produce, wild vines. And what will happen? And what will happen? What will happen? As we have said, we will end up bringing up, we will end up bearing sour vines, rather sour grapes. And what will happen if we go by that? What will happen? We read this in the book of Isaiah. Let's go back to the book of Isaiah. This is what will happen to us. Chapter 5, verse 5. Now come, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. Now come, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will remove the hedge. We have read that the Lord is the owner of the farm. We are God's farm. Now come, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will remove the hedge and it will be eaten up. I will break through its fence, and its vines will be trampled on, will be trampled down. I will let it go to waste. It will neither be pruned nor hoed, but overgrown with briars and thorns. I will also order the clouds not to let rain on it. Yes, that is what will happen. If we bear, if our fruit is sour grapes, wild grapes, and not that word, wild, from the wilderness, a place where it is not cultivated, a place which has not been fenced. Know that word, wild. They are also wild animals. So we can, through that, we can note that there is that becoming wild. We become wild. That's how we become wild. And when people become wild, they start fighting among themselves. Some people feel that they are greater than the others. They are better than the others. When they become wild, they become also sour. They become bitter when things are this way or that way. They start becoming evil, treating others like they become treating others badly, seeing themselves they are bigger, they are that way, and anything else can happen. Anything can happen when people become wild. So what the Lord does after that, after people become wild and they feel everything that I have said, the Lord comes up and brings down his farm by removing the fence. And also the fence can be also be removed, even the fence of your heart. You become because that fence that you have, or rather you should have in your heart, has been removed by the Lord. You see? Also, what happens also when the fence is removed, you can become anything. You can start doing wild things. You can also start a different life from the life of a believer. So you become like an unbeliever. Although you say that you believe, but it's just from the mouth. But if what you are doing, your deeds are not expressing your faith, because you have become wild, and also your fence has been removed by the Lord. The Lord is very easy to remove your fence if you start, if you fall, or rather, you start doing things different from things that should be done by a believer. So we should be very careful. We should be very careful that our fences, our hedges, our watchtower are not removed. What goes on is that the Lord stops his spirit working on us. That the Lord can also stop his spirit working on you. And when the spirit is not working on you, you start behaving differently. You start fighting the believers, and not even you, even the leaders themselves. They can start fighting the other the other believers. And the Lord will do that. He will bring down the fence and leave you that way. And also the Lord himself, and rather Yeshua. Yeshua taught us what we should know about the farm of the Lord through a parable. In the book of Matthew, there's a parable in the book of Matthew, that is chapter 13, verse 24. I will start from chapter verse 24. Matthew 13. Matthew 13 from verse 24. Now we approach it from a different angle now. We approach the farm from a different angle and what is now planted. Yeshua put before them another parable. The kingdom of God of heaven is like a man who sowed good seeds in his farm. But while people were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat, then went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads of grain, the weeds also appeared. The owner's servant came to him and said, "Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where have the weeds come from?" He answered, "An enemy has done this." The servant asked him, "Then do you want us to go and pull them up?" But he said, "No, because if you pull up the weeds, you might uproot some of the wheat at the same time. Let them both grow together until the harvest. And at harvest time, I will tell the reapers to collect the weeds. I first tie them in bundles to be burned, but together the wheat into my barn. That's another nago now we approached. And from the start of this sermon, you remember that I mentioned, or rather the reading of the book of Isaiah mentioned that the planter removed thorns first. When he was preparing his farm, he removed all thorns, or any kind of plant that is not, he will not plant, and removed them so that he can be able to plant only the vine seed. Now we have seen another angle. We are coming to another angle where now somebody at night entered the field and they planted tares seeds in the farm of the owner. And the servant asked the owner, "What will we do? I can see we have tares in our farm. Don't remove them until the time of the harvest." You see? Don't remove them. Let them grow together. Because the work of removing the tares amongst the vines, among the wheat, it is the work of the Lord. The tare will not be able, tares will not be able to stay there. Will not be gathered to be put in the barn. Tares will be left out They will be gathered together, they will be bundled together, and at the end, when they have been removed or separated from wheat, all those tears, all those horns, thorns, all those briars, all those will be gathered together and burnt at the end, when the grain will be collected into the barns. This is now the work of the Lord. It is not our It is not our work to be able, because if we are removing the tares among which we something might happen. We might uproot the tares with the good wheat. So this is how to do, or rather to work in the farm of the Lord. This is how to work in the farm of the Lord. If there is any other way of working in the family, in the farm of the Lord, don't know, because that is how he did it. Baruch Hashem. I'm